Hello everyone and welcome back to Calmlands. This is the multiplayer co-op with Nordic farming and we've reached episode number 55, starting at the farmhouse today because the first thing we're going to do is go to the store because we have a whole lot of grape and olive equipment to purchase. That's right, last time we reconfigured this area, we changed it from grass fields to a grape vineyard on the left in field number 1 and then an olive yard in the other section. So yeah, we have got some work to do this morning to get those all ready and happy. We're going to have to do some mulching to cut the grass away, cultivate to get the ground sort of prepped, and then we're going to have to do some fertiliser spraying, which is all exciting because we've not done grapes and olives yet. Well, I haven't anyway. So yeah, we're off to the store first of all to purchase some equipment. Nordic has very kindly given us a lift in the cab seat, and we are going to be purchasing some tractors and then all of the equipment that we need to run off the back for the olives and grapes. So starting with tractors, we are going to get the FS22 Vario, and it's nice and thin for us to navigate down the vines. Got the engine upgrade, and we've got GPS to help us out, so we'll buy that. And then we're going to get the Antonio Carraro Mac 4R, and we've got the 3-point linkage on the front and of course GPS as well. This is a rather fancy looking one from the Antonio Carraro pack, so we're going to buy this. And then mulchers, we are going to get the TMC Cancella, the TPN 140. And that takes 70 horsepower to run, so we should be able to run that nice and easily. 2 of those. And then for subsoilers, the Agrisem Disco Veen V. And we need 2 of these as well. And for sprayers, we found this mod, the Caffini Synthesis. And that's going to be our sprayer. 2 of these as well. Okay, so that is all our equipment. And here we have our 2 tractors, the Fendt and the Antonio Carrera. They look very smart, but they are very diddy. 2 mulchers, 2 subsoilers, and 2 sprayers. Now, one thing we are going to try and do is mulch and subsoil at the same time if we can. So we are going to hop in, start up. Looks like Nordic's got a pivoting steering mode, which is quite funky. Right, let's get the beacon on. Now this is the first time that I've done grapes and olives, so it's quite exciting to be able to try this. So we want to get the mulcher on the front and then the subsoiler on the back. I'll let Nordic manoeuvre for his. Wow, this is very new. I'm glad we are trying this. And we'll do a little swivel round and grab the subsoiler on the back. I'll have to return later for the sprayer. And of course we will have to probably get a tanker with liquid fertiliser in it, because we'll probably have quite a lot of filling up to do. Right, Nordic is just grabbing his subsoiler, then we can head off back. Now yeah, we have got GPS on these, which is probably going to be quite handy for some of the trickier rows. Right, I think Nordic is behind me, so let's head off in these diddy machines and go and see about doing some mulching and cultivating or subsoiling in our first field. I think we're going to start with the grapes. And here's what it looks like on the inside. Very small but very smart and modern, and we've got a little dashboard up above as well, which is quite handy. Okay, we have made it back, so we want to head for the first row, and the plan is that Nordic and I are going to do alternating rows, so I will come along and do the first, he'll do the second, then I'll flip to the third, and he'll then move on to the fourth. So yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting show. Let's see how we get on with this first little strip. So we want to turn the mulcher on and lower it down, and then we want to also lower the subsoiler, which is probably not going to register until we start going in there. There we go. Oh, I've got stuck on a vine. Knew that was going to happen. Got to watch my widths. There we go, we are doing it. Oh dear, that is annoying. I keep getting caught. Probably because the mulcher is a little bit thinner than the subsoiler and I'm catching it. But we are going to get busy. Might be a bit rough around the edges because it's the first time we are doing this. But yeah, we'll give it a go. So we'll get cracking and see you when we made some good progress. We can lift up for our last row because we are done, and we can switch off the mulcher as well. Now we are finished. We've been doing alternating rows, but you might notice that Nordic has switched to a Fendt, and that's because he was not getting on with the Antonio Carrera. The articulated steering made it particularly difficult to navigate, and it was also a manually shifting tractor, so made it particularly difficult to jump up the gears when you needed to. It was just high revving and not really going very fast, so Nordic switched that out, and that means we've got matching tractors now, which I guess is good. So you would have noticed that we've done sort of a row down the hill and back up per gap between the vine. Now we weren't sure whether that is what you're meant to do, go sort of pressing right up against the vine and then back again. But yes, we've done it that way for this smaller field. But when it comes to the olives, I think we're just going to run down the middle of each gap and then come back on the next row, rather than down and back on the same row to get all of it, because yeah, it just seemed that it was catching on the vines as we were running up and down there on both sides. But yeah, interestingly, the equipment doesn't fully match the width of the gap between the vines, and we did make sure we placed them as close as they could be. Right, we'll drop the mulcher off here, and then we will spin round and drop the cultivator off as well. And I think we're going to run and grab both sprayers, so we've got that for later. And yep, Nordic will hopefully be finished by then, and we can get back to cultivating the olive vines. Oh, hit the post there, don't want to be doing that. So yeah, let's run over to the store and we can go get the sprayers. Right, we've made it to the store already. These things are very nippy. They've got 100 horsepower and they're only very light, so it does make them very quick. Right, we want to grab both sprayers, so let's grab one. And two. We are in a sprayer sandwich right now. Let's head on back and then we can get the mulcher and subsoiler reattached to crack on with the olives. We can turn in and see our lovely vineyard of grapes taking shape. Nordic's on the last couple of rows, so we can drop the sprayers off and get reset for the olives. Now we have a much larger olive area than we do grapes, but that's okay. And what we do have is some very, very large sheds. Now we are going to be putting our vineyard and olive yard equipment in here, but yeah, we could look to utilize it for some more stuff as well. We've got obviously lots of vehicles, lots of tractors, and we are running out of a bit of space down in the main farmyard, so we could look to bring some vehicles up here if we needed to. Alright, let's get this sprayer dropped off and grab the cultivator and mulcher again. There we go, got everything, and we can just wait for Nordic to finish. Nordic is all done, fantastic, so we'll follow him to the olives. And yeah, we're going to try and get the GPS set up for this one, which will help us because we are just going down the centre of the vines this time. We're not going to go down either side, and hopefully that works okay and it will make our work a little bit quicker. We can get fired up, we are lined up, we've got the GPS set, we can head on in, and yeah, we are following the lines. There we go. Right, I'm just trying to stay a little bit behind Nordic, and I think we can set the old cruise to follow. There we go. We are off. Better slow down a bit. Don't want to catch him too much. Right, we are into the olives now, and as you can see, we've got a lot of work to do. So we're going to crack on doing the mulching and cultivating, or subsoiling once again, and we'll see you when we're all finished. And that's our last row done. Lifting up, and Nordic is doing the last side. And switch off the mulcher. And yes, we went down the middle of each of the rows, worked quite nicely in tandem, which was pretty good fun. Much more efficient doing it down the middle of each row rather than going back and forth down the same row. But you will notice that we've used quite a lot of fuel. So I'm going to take the Fent to, well, wash up the equipment because it's a little bit dirty. And we're going to need to refuel because we've got to go and do all of the vines again, but this time spraying. And we'll have to get the tank with liquid fertiliser in it so we can quickly replenish. I'm not sure how much we are going to go through. Yeah, that was quite fun. First time doing grape and olive work, and I got to say, it's nice to be doing something different. I'm sure people have tried it many a time already, and it's definitely not a new thing anymore, but for me it is a new experience and enjoyable for the first time. I think it's also Nordic's first time doing grapes and olives, so yeah, that is pretty interesting how we've left it so late in the game to actually give it a go. But yeah, we're always busy doing lots of different things. So let's get this all washed up. We'll give it a service as well and get the poor old Fent a bit of a drink. Right, that's all serviced up. So we can get this parked back at the yard and then grab the sprayer. Nordic is off fetching the tanker and filling it with liquid fertiliser. So it looks like Nordic has decided to drop stuff off here, so we will do that and then grab a sprayer. And I completely forgot to refuel, so I've got to go and do that. Refueled. Right, we are back from refueling. Nordic has got his sprayer and he's filling up with liquid fertiliser. We will do the same. So let's hitch up and go get some juice. Going to be able to come alongside and refuel. Fantastic. We get a nice handy meter on this tanker telling us how much we've got. Now Nordic has got started on the first row, so we are going to head down here and oh, I need to unfold it first. That is always an issue. Looks like it folds out some flaps and we can start spraying. Now we have got precision farming activated, and yeah, hopefully we can spray both rows at the same time. There we go, look at that, we are spraying. Fantastic. A bit bumpy because we're going through where we just subsoiled, but precision farming is working as it needs to, and hopefully that's doing the right job. So we're going to get stuck into spraying. Let's go down this next row and hopefully we're going to be alright. It's sort of flicking on and off when I'm not expecting it to, so we'll have to just take a look, see that it is applying correctly. Okay, sprayer off, and bizarrely Nordic and I were spraying that and it didn't seem to be taking any fertiliser, and when we looked at the precision farming menu in the top left it said crop does not need additional fertiliser, so that must mean the ground has got nitrogen from somewhere, probably from when we last fertilised the ground in the grass field, field 1. But nonetheless we are going to spray it. It might need spraying again when it reaches the next growth stage. But yeah, I'm not sure how precision farming works with grapes. The only tutorials I've seen have been around using the base game rather than precision farming. But yeah, nonetheless, we'll get it sprayed. If it doesn't use any liquid fertiliser or very little, then we've not lost much other than fuel and time. But yeah, we might have to come along and spray it again depending on what happens. This is new to us, so yeah, if you've got any tips, tricks or thoughts on how we should be going about this, then let us know. We're going to get started on this next area, which is our olives. So yeah, once again, Nordic and I will get busy, and we'll see you when we're done. There we go. Nordic is seeing to the last row, and we've done all of the olives. But one thing we have found out whilst spraying is that precision farming means that you don't need to fertilise your olives or grapes. So that is why we were seeing the crop needs no additional fertiliser, which is a shame in my opinion. I think precision farming is probably taking something away from the olives and grapes crop in that regard, but potentially that's what it is in real life. So yeah, it's a interesting one, but has meant that the fertilising wasn't really necessary, but we went ahead and sprayed it anyway just because we bought these sprayers. So yeah, we wanted to see what it was like to give them a spray. But we'll check the map in a moment. But that is the grapes and the olives mulched, cultivated and sprayed. But of course we will have to come back when they are ready to harvest with two different sets of harvesters. I don't think there is a harvester that will do both grapes and olives, so we'll have to assess that when the time comes. And then something that we need to do for grapes post-harvest is pruning. But olives do not require pruning apparently. So yeah, we've got some jobs that we'll need to do later on once the grapes and olives are ready, which is good, and look forward to that. But for now we can get the sprayer dropped off, and we can probably just park our tractors here. They've done a grand job, and it's nice that we've got two matching tractors, which is fab. So let's just have a quick look at the map. So as you can see, in field 1 we've got our grapes, and in farmhouse field we've got our olives. They are in the early growth stage, although olives looks like it's a little bit further along. And if we look at precision farming, it's telling us that we've got 0 kilograms per hectare, but that is what is expected for grapes and olives. And for pH, that looks to be at a good level. So yeah, I don't know whether we'll have to lime also once we've done a few crop cycles. But that is it for today. We have ventured into our grape and olive work, so hope you have enjoyed. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe. Check out Nordic's channel for his perspective of today's session. All that's left to say is, hope to see you again next time on Calm Lands, and until then, we'll catch you later. Cheers all, bye bye.